If you want to build an aesthetic physique with a V-taper that actually stands out, stop looking for another gym machine. One pull-up variation can do more for your back than most people realize. Not because it's harder, because it trains the right qualities. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why archer pull-ups deserve a place in your training. It comes down to what they're actually forcing your back to do. What actually builds a V-taper? When most people hear V-taper, they think of a massive back. But size alone isn't what catches your eye. Imagine two athletes standing side by side. Both have the same amount of back muscle. One looks broad enough to fill a doorway, while the other just looks muscular. The difference isn't how much muscle they built. It's where they built it. A great V-taper comes from building the muscles that create the illusion of broader shoulders while your waist stays the same. That's why someone doesn't have to be the biggest person in the room to have the most impressive physique. If their back creates that wide look, they'll almost always look more aesthetic. So the real question isn't, what's the hardest back exercise? It's, which movement does the best job of creating that shape? And that's exactly what makes archer pull-ups so interesting. The biggest difference is that archer pull-ups stop letting both sides of your back share the work equally. With a regular pull-up, your body naturally finds the easiest path to the top. If one side is slightly stronger, it can quietly take over without you even noticing. But an archer pull-up shifts most of your body weight onto one arm, forcing that side of your back to generate far more of the movement while the other arm provides only assistance. That changes the entire feel of the exercise. Instead of simply thinking about pulling yourself up, you're focused on driving one elbow down and back while keeping your body under control. The working lat has to stabilize, produce force, and stay engaged throughout the entire rep. You can't rush it, swing through it, or rely on momentum without immediately losing the position. Another thing you'll notice is the stretch. At the bottom of each rep, the working side begins from a much more lengthened position before producing force. As you pull, the lat shortens through a larger range of motion, making every rep feel more deliberate instead of simply getting from the bottom to the top. That's why archer pull-ups don't just feel like a harder version of a pull-up. They force each side of your back to do more on its own, exposing weaknesses that symmetrical pulling can easily hide. And once you experience that difference, the next step is learning how to train them so you actually build that wider-looking back instead of just making the exercise harder. If you've already tried them, let me know in the comments how they felt for you. Now here's how to train them properly. Simply knowing why archer pull-ups are effective isn't enough. Like any exercise, the results come down to how you train them. Do too much too soon, and they'll turn into a sloppy strength challenge. Progress them correctly, and they can become one of the best tools for building back width. The first mistake is treating every rep like a max effort attempt. Archer pull-ups aren't about getting from the bottom to the top by any means necessary. The goal is to make the working side do as much of the pulling as possible. If your body twists, your shoulders rotate excessively, or your assisting arm starts taking over, you've defeated the purpose of the exercise. Instead, think about driving the elbow of your working arm toward your hip while the opposite arm simply guides the movement. The straighter you can keep the assisting arm without locking it completely, the more work the pulling side has to do. You'll probably discover that one side feels noticeably weaker than the other, and that's completely normal. Resist the temptation to match your stronger side by cheating. Let each arm progress at its own pace. A good approach is to start with your weaker side, then match the same number of reps on your stronger side. Volume matters just as much as execution. Archer pull-ups are demanding enough that they don't need to dominate your workout. In the beginning, don't worry about chasing high reps. If you can perform 3 to 5 clean repetitions per side with full control, that's a great place to start. As your strength and technique improve, gradually work your way into the 8 to 12 rep range before thinking about making the exercise more difficult. 2 or 3 quality sets performed after your main pulling movement are usually more productive than filling your session with endless reps. The focus should always be quality over quantity. Every repetition should look nearly identical, with full control from the stretched position at the bottom all the way to the top. If your technique starts breaking down, end the set there. Clean reps will build far more than forcing extra ones with poor form. Progressive overload is what turns this exercise into results. That doesn't always mean adding external weight. Your first goal is reducing how much assistance the supporting arm provides while keeping every rep controlled. Once you can consistently perform archer pull-ups for 8 to 12 clean reps per side, you can make the movement more challenging by progressing to typewriter pull-ups. Unlike archers, where you pull toward one side, typewriters require you to move from side to side while staying at the top, keeping both lats under constant tension and demanding even greater control. The goal isn't to rush into harder variations. It's to master each progression before moving on. Those small improvements accumulate far more effectively than chasing advanced skills before you've earned the strength. As for frequency, 1 to 2 sessions per week is all you need. Archer pull-ups are demanding enough that quality and recovery matter far more than doing them every workout. Focus on progressing a little each week, whether that's cleaner technique, better control, and extra repetition, or relying less on your assisting arm. Those small improvements might seem insignificant from one workout to the next, but over the course of months, they add up to a noticeably stronger and wider back. Trust the progression, and let consistency do the work. The catch. The catch is that archer pull-ups only work if you actually make your lats do the work. Most people turn them into a side-to-side pull-up, relying on momentum and their assisting arm to get through the rep. The exercise looks impressive, but the stimulus is gone. If you can't control every inch of the movement, you're better off regressing until you can. If you want to build thicker, stronger arms using another underrated pull-up variation, watch my next video on how commando pull-ups build thick arms.